Good morning. Well, I think we're done planting corn. I need to talk to Phil some more on the beans. We'll see where we're at with that. We're gonna get the corn planter unhooked this afternoon and get the Anhydrous Bar hooked up because it's about time to start side dressing some of that early corn. So that's the plan for this afternoon. I think. I gotta talk to Dad. I'm hoping he's gonna spray wheat today. We might have to help him with that a little bit. Speaking of spraying the wheat today, today's video is brought to you by one of my channel sponsors, AgriPro Wheat from GrowPro Genetics. I want to say thank you to them for partnering with me. I know it's not wheat buying season, but it is wheat growing season, and we are growing a phenomenal crop of AgriPro SY 547 in this field. We've been planting AgriPro wheat on our farm for well over a decade now. It has been some of the highest yielding, best performing genetics that we have had. I've had numerous side-by-sides versus competitive wheats. The AgriPro always performs very well. We've been very happy with it, particularly this SY 547. This is my early maturing wheat that is really good option where we try and double crop, where we need really good grain quality, high test weight. This is a great wheat variety. We also plant a lot of SY 100. That wheat variety has been our best yielding wheat probably the last 3 or 4, 5 years in a row. I'd have to go back and check the records, but that is a later maturing wheat that's been just phenomenal yield wise. We have a new number we're trying this year. We have some of it down to Berkey, GP 463. I'm excited to see what it does. We've got it side by side with some SY 100 down there, so we'll have a really good comparison. AgriPro offers high quality genetics, but they offer a lot more than that when it comes to the relationship with the farm. I am actually an AgriPro dealer. They work through a network of dealers and distributors, much like myself. So again, thank you to AgriPro. I appreciate their partnership. As we go through the growing season, you'll hear me talk about them a little bit more. Again, I'm looking for companies and work with people that we are already working with or that have a great fit for my farm. This one is a natural fit because it's something we've been using for a decade. I'm not coming out here and looking at a product that says, hey, we'll do this if you mention this or whatever. No, that's not what this is. This is a company that I have been working with that said, hey, you're providing us some value. We want to partner with you. And so we're just making a special note of that this morning. And I appreciate them doing that for me. And like I said, I'm really excited about our wheat crop this year. Now we need some rain in the next couple of weeks as we start heading into pollination and grain fill period. But we have a ton of potential on our wheat crop. And I'm excited to partner with AgriPro. I'm excited to harvest our AgriPro wheat. We'll see where this goes from there. You can find a link to the AgriPro Wheat website down here in the description. You can also find a link to their Facebook page for more information. And now back to today's video. First thing this morning though, we've got to treat a box of beans for one of my customers. And then after that, I brought the trailer home last night because I got to help Anna move. She's got to get all her stuff out of her house up in Lansing from school. So we're gonna go do that this morning. All right, just one box that we need, that one right there. This is why we keep extra stuff on hand in season, because I've already had a customer take one box and 35 paper bags, and then I've had a couple other ones take small amounts of paper bags, and now we need a box of beans for replant, and that's why we've got them on hand in season. And the nice thing about this treater is that I can just run one through, like especially on the replant beans. The treatment and the beans are 100% covered under our replant policy, and so there's no reason for me to give them to him without treatment on it. Just put it on. But if I have extra treated beans at the end of the year and I have too many, the company will charge me to return them, and we don't want that. So we want to have exactly what we need. Hence the reason we put on exactly what we need. Yep, same as always. Just running one box today, so quick run. I will say that there is an argument to be made that the treatment is less necessary late like this when the ground is warm and the beans are going to grow fast. I would argue that a little bit because certain diseases do like cool and wet conditions. Other diseases that can be just as bad prefer warm and wet conditions. Now we're sort of warm and dry right now, and yeah, maybe it's not as necessary, but again, these are replant beans and he's not paying for the treatment. Again, it's included, and so we put it on. So Dad had some errands to run this morning. He's gonna look at the wheat later and see about spraying today or not. We're a little on the early side. The head scab fungicide traditionally has been something that is very, very time sensitive and critical to get it on at exactly the right time. And that correct timing is when the wheat is actually pollinated, when you can see the anthers hanging off of the heads. We're not quite there yet, but the chemical that we're using now has a little bit wider application window. You can go earlier, and so it might be time to do it anyway. I got out some of the foliar additive stuff that we're going to use so that that's all there, and I think I'm gonna head to Lansing to do some moving. The things I do for my sister. Ay, it's getting warm out here. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Move all my stuff out of my East Lansing house.
I showed him loading the trailer earlier, so.
Oh.
All right, Dad's spraying, so we're gonna go see what he's got going on, then get a corn planter unhooked. Anna's gonna unload all of this, all by herself. All right, so Dad's loading the sprayer up. He is spraying our head scab fungicide on wheat. We are using Anhydrous Ace. And this has a bit of a wider application window than the Prosaro that we used to use or have used in the past. If you guys would go back to my wheat harvest videos from last year, you'll see a really good reason why we're using Anhydrous Ace this year. If I was a really good YouTuber, I would go and find the video and put a little link right here, but I'm not, so I'm not gonna do that. But it was in July, and towards the end of wheat harvest. We had been harvesting all year, and our combine kept getting this black dust on it. And you could just see darkness in the wheat. And when we were spraying this head scab fungicide last year, we ran a little bit short on one field. We couldn't get any more of the Prosaro that we were using, but the retailer had a jug or two of this Anhydrous Ace that they brought out for us to use. And so we sprayed that, used it on the last little bit there. Well, anyway, when we were harvesting, we were getting this black dust, and every time you would climb out of the combine, the handrails on the ladder would be black, and you'd get it all over your hands. It would be everywhere. When we got to that last field, the handrails stopped accumulating dust. The Anhydrous Ace made a huge difference, and so that's why we're using that this year exclusively. The wheat was brighter, had better color to it. The straw was brighter. It just, you could tell it was a much healthier plant. So anyway, we've got to get a corn planter unhooked here, so we're going to figure out where we're going to put this. So I decided we're just going to put the planter right here in the back of the shop for right now. We're not done with the planter. We're done planting with the planter, but clearly it needs cleaned up and washed, and the seed bowls taken out of it, and the belts detensioned and properly stored. We're going to get to all of that after we're done side dressing, probably. So I'm not ready to put it away in the clean barn where it's going to sit for the rest of the summer and winter, but I want it out of the way enough that, you know, if we need to drive through here or park something in here, we can. So we're just, I'm comfortable with where it's at right there. I shut the tractor off to unhook all of the hydraulic and mostly the electrical connectors. You do not want to unhook those with the monitors on and stuff, just so you don't confuse things, mostly. Well, we got it unhooked. I have an oil spill because I had a couple more of these colored aluminum hose marker ends to put on. I didn't have the ones for the Power Beyond put on before. The red one and the black one, the orange one, and then the yellow one is the case drain. So we put those on. And I spilled some oil, but it's okay. Everything should be unhooked. Next thing we gotta do is take the quick coupler off. We cannot run the quick coupler with the Anhydrous Bar, so we'll pull it over here and get the forklift, and that comes off with just a couple of bolts. It's pretty easy to do. I forgot, before I mess with that quick hitch, I need to go treat another box of beans. Yeah, we need another box for replant for a customer, so I'm gonna go do that so they can come and get them planted. More beans going in. Look what else we got. What appears to be a whole lot of work. That's what this pallet is. Those are field signs. Technically for Tony, my sales rep, not all for me, but we'll use some of them up. Okay, we got our beans taken care of. Now we got to get this quick hitch off. So you really only have to take this one bolt out. That has a big head and it looks like a big bolt, but then you unscrew it and you realize that it's a tiny little bolt, and if you put too much torque on it when you're tightening, you will snap it off. Ask me how I know. Pull that one on the other side, that holds the pin in place. So then we can pop the pin out of there, and we've got to pull this pin on the top link, and then that comes off. But I'm gonna get the forklift so we can support it so I don't drop it on myself. That would be a bad day. If I was smarter, I would have put the 3-point hitch down before I did this, but I'm not, and I think I got it. Just getting the right amount of lift on the forklift to take the pressure off of the pins here is the challenge. There we go. Now I should back out with me. Just like that. Now we go find a spot to set it. Now we are ready to go and hook up the Anhydrous Bar. I am going to back this through here, and we're going to power wash just the hydraulic couplers and blocks and stuff off. Just clean that up a little bit from the planter. You guys know how this goes, right? I'm going to power wash just the hydraulic couplers, and then the whole tractor's going to end up getting foamed. Yeah, I know how it goes too. Oh man, that is fun. Even wash the rock that we got sitting on the platform. I'm not doing a very good job here. We're just going to foam it and rinse it off. I'm not going to take the time to really clean it. But it ought to get some of the dust off. Make it look nice. We are using our Andy Clean foam here, in case anybody's wondering. There! It's my nice and shiny and somewhat clean HitRx. Let's go hook it up to an anhydrous applicator. The cab is a bit of a mess, although I will say the carpet, it hides dirt very well. It's kind of nice. Now, because we don't have a quick hitch, this is a bit tricky to get hooked up right, and you want as little slop as possible. So we've got to use these spacers, we've got to use some washers, shim washers. It's a bit tricky to get it lined up perfect. This might take me a few minutes. Ah, that was a pain. I had to recruit help. Thank you. All right, again, we shut the tractor off to hook up electronics. So I've got that done. We need to get our Nitro Alert monitor. That's what these are for, and put that in the cab. So we're gonna go do that. We got our hydraulics hooked up. Now this is a 2-point attach, kind of like the planter. But again, we can't use the quick coupler. I can't really explain why, other than that just the way that it pulls and the stress on the coupler could break it. And this label tells you why. It tells you not to do it. So, but it floats on these back casters, and basically that beam that says John Deere there needs to run level. We got to get our openers picked up off the ground so we can get it set where we want it. And then we don't ever adjust the 3-point height. That just sits in one spot all the time. We use the hydraulics to raise and lower the openers from there. So we shouldn't have much to do to this. We had it in the shop. Well, we did a lot of work to it last summer when we were done. We had it in the shop earlier this spring, winter, working on it. So we just basically need to check the tires and get a tank and pressure test everything. Phil's done planting now, so he's back to hauling corn. Eventually we're gonna run out of corn. He won't have any more to haul. And I'd have to go and look, but I don't know that all the stuff he's hauling now is already sold, which means that it's not worth what it once was. Not even close. The markets have taken a beating over the last month. I got our Nitro Alert monitor. That's a blockage monitor that monitors the flow on each row. We'll talk about it later some, but I think everything is ready to go. I'm gonna go grab an anhydrous tank. Okay, we're not gonna get a tank tonight. It's a little after 4. They closed, there's nobody here. They got some tanks weighed out. I told them I might be coming to get one, but none of them are set up for us with our name on it. There's 2 different sizes of fittings to to attach the hydraulic or the anhydrous hose, we use the large fitting. Every tank out there has a small fitting on it, so it's okay. We weren't going to the field tonight anyway. We'll come in the morning and grab one. I'm a little surprised that they close before 4 or at 4 on a Tuesday when it's dry and everything's going well, but that's okay. Not a big deal to me right now. We'll figure it out, and when we're ready to roll, we'll make sure we get enough tanks around during business hours for us to be able to do what we need to do the rest of the day, because I don't quit at 4. Okay, we're pretty well ready to go with the Anhydrous Bar. I do have some computer work that we need to do. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to put that inside here tonight so the gator is in the way. We need to go look at a wheat field to film the opening that you have already seen. So once again, thank you to AgriPro Wheat, and go check out their website and Facebook page and support my channel sponsors. Thank you. Okay, we got that put inside. Like I said, we should be all ready to go tomorrow. We'll get a tank in the morning and pressure test everything, and then probably go to a field. Now, we're not going to be in a super big hurry because our corn is still small. We've got lots of time before we have to get it side dressed. But the weather's good, and it's big enough that we can do some now, so we're going to get a jump start on stuff. Try and get 300 or 400 acres done here before the weekend. Now, when I made all of my prescription maps for seeding, I also made ones for our anhydrous rates, and I have not yet gone through Work Planner, so we need to go into my John Deere, go to their Work Planner, and create an application plan. So instead of seeding, we're going to be application, and then basically make a plan for anhydrous for all of our fields with the scripts, and then we can send that to the display in the tractor. That will import our scripts and also our autopath lines that we made when we planted. That will make this a whole lot easier. So I went through and selected a list of all the fields that are corn, and then we just click on it and we select the 8200 anhydrous script, and then it pulls it up, and then we're just assigning them to all the fields basically. Man, oh man, look at this corn grow. It looks really good. Just come out here to get the tractor, and then I just look down the ends, and I'm like, man, that corn's really growing. That looks good. Let's go look. We don't have to walk super far. We'll just look right here on the ends. Here's our first leaf, rounded. 1, 2, third leaf with a collar. This is V3 corn. Nice. It's moving. That's good. It looks really good. Filling out the rows a little bit, or you know, the rows are getting some width to them, some definition. So that's ready to side dress. We can come and do this anytime. It's plenty big. I need to use this tractor, but we need to take the hammer strap off the top part of the hitch clevis there. So we got to pull it up in front of the shop. Just a couple of bolts. They're long ones. There. Dad just got back. He wrapped up the head scab fungicide on wheat up here. We're just a touch early, meaning that we're not actually shedding pollen yet, but the heads are pretty much all emerged. This Miravis, like I've said, has a wider application window. You can start at 50% heads emerged, and so we're well past that and within the window. It'll start pollinating in a day or two. We got to get to Berkey yet and do that, but we will get there. Dad, when he went and looked at the wheat, said it's not pollinating yet, but it's supposed to be windy the next few days, and there was some yellow spots starting to appear on the flag leaf. And while we did spray fungicide on that last week, another shot is going to help. We are after Dad's new scraper. Let's see if we can get this thing hooked up and use it a little bit. 2 hoses and a hitch pin. Couldn't be much more simple. I wonder if there's a cylinder stop. Now we're gonna pull it out in front of the shop. I think we have a bad hydraulic coupler barrel on this tractor. One of the ones in number 1, the hose wouldn't stay in. So I put it in the number 2 outlet, and that seems to work. And it goes up and down. So I got a little spot in my house where I need to move some dirt. Maybe filling around my concrete pad, but I got a basement window, and the idea was for the dirt to slope away from it, and it does, and then it comes up and there's a ridge and I get a pond of water there. So We're going to move the dirt farther out away from the house where the ridge is, now that I don't have crops planted there with this. So we need some more dirt in here and along that side, but we got to take it out from right down there, out from that window. See where all that grass is? That's where the water ponds. So we need to cut it down out here in the field. First cut with this. Let's see how we do. Oh, too late. Oh yeah. Shortcut, we're not gonna fill it. Oh, it's nice and smooth. That's beautiful. All right, let me get the hang of it. Oh, this works nice. I had a little edge to my sand in my leach field there, so I'm filling that in so we can taper it off. I've got this dug out, I think, where the water will flow. It's gonna kind of come this way, out there into the field, which is fine. That's where it needs to go. We just need to touch up this edge here a little bit. I've moved some dirt. We're gonna need the backhoe to push it around a little bit. We're gonna need the box scraper to smooth everything off, but yeah, did what we needed to do here. All right, I'm done for the night. Thanks for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I would appreciate it. And we'll see you again tomorrow. We're gonna start side dressing tomorrow. Hopefully, as long as we pressure test and nothing blows up on us, we're gonna start side dressing tomorrow. See ya, have a good night. One more thing, I am coming out here in this field by the plot every day and checking for emergence. I have our emergence flagging kit here, where we're gonna do those colored flags based on emergence every day. I haven't seen anything yet, but I just walked out here and thought I'd look, and I'm gonna measure out our 17 feet 5 inches where our flags are gonna go, and see how close stuff is. Nothing yet. All right, well, there's our trial, and I'm making sure not to dig or step or do anything to affect that, but I am digging in the rows next to it to see. Right there, I just uncovered one. Not yet, but I bet tomorrow. I bet tomorrow's our day. We do day one stuff. Maybe the next day. I don't know. We'll see. But we're gonna keep an eye on it. I've tried to check it every night between 7, 8, 6, somewhere in there, so we're about the same time.